What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 48 of the LARNE project here in Football Manager 2019. Today, we venture into the unknown, quite literally. Inter Milan, today's opposition, in what you'd have to say is the biggest game in the club's history, certainly in my time as manager here in FM, whilst perhaps the games against Manchester United were against bigger opposition. I feel like it'd be hard to reject the idea that the Europa League first knockout round really is the biggest stage that we have played on as manager. To get this far is a fantastic achievement this year, beyond what I was really expecting. We're going to try and go one step further if we can and knock out Inter Milan. You can see I don't have Italy loaded, but they've still got a very good team. Not necessarily been super tested yet in Europe. But they're not going to be easy to beat. They've got some very, very good players. And yeah, it's just not going to be easy. You can see last year they finished outside of the top three. However, the year before that they did finish second in Serie A. So formidable opposition. We have to be wary of them today. Since we're last here, we have played some league games. You guys don't care about them. Let's really get real here. Of course, Ballymena last time out. Since then, we beat Crusaders 1-0, Addons 3-0, Coleraine 3-0, Cliftonville 2-0, Banger 2-0. So yes, lots of clean sheets in a row, which is particularly good. With those results, we are guaranteed Europa League football next year. Realistically speaking, with 7 games left of the league season, the title is wrapped up. Let's make no mistake here. We're 18 points clear. It's done. So with that in mind, we really focus and shift our attention to Europe here, which is where we are right now. So can we make it through this competition, this round? It's not going to be easy, is it? In terms of team selection news, a little bit just to be aware of. Suspension for Kieran Kane. He is going to miss today's first game. Of course, both of the first and second leg against Inter coming your way today. Kenny Dixon also out suspended. So a couple of first team players there. Over the January period, we didn't actually end up signing anyone. I did look at players. I was looking into options, but no one really jumped out at us. And well, we have one more player actually who I forgot to mention, Lucas Grahn. Yes, he has to start today. Jared Thompson out with an injury. Probably could risk him if I really wanted to, but the truth be told, I don't really want to. So he is not going to play despite, being on the road to recovery. Almost certainly will be back for the second leg. That's good news, I guess. But here and now, we need to focus on the task at hand with the squad we've got. So let's see how we get on. I'm pretty nervous going into this. A little bit of morale problems you might notice here. A few players who tried to force moves over the January period. Lil and O'Connor really spearheading that rebellion. And, well, we managed to keep hold of them. They are going to have to deal with it. Hopefully, that's not going to be the end of the world here. I am going to play Glendining over Bannon. Bannon, to be honest, he's been playing well as of late, but he's not happy. I mean, I'm sorry, fan club. I'm actually going to stick with Bannon. I've changed my mind. But yeah, we're going to stick with him. Lil is going to start today just due to the injury to Dixon, although unusually perhaps he's going to be playing out on the right-hand side, so can't really cut in on his stronger foot. And well, with that bit of injury news to Dixon, it does mean that Paul O'Connor is going to start today out on the left-hand side. So yes, let's get into this. The first of 2 games. Tactically, I've taken on board what you all said. A lot of people said after the Manchester United games, Jack, plan B is needed. And I don't disagree. There's games where we're not going to be able to control the ball. The plan B is here. It's a game compressing system. You'll notice that a lot of the player roles are similar to the roles that we use in our current system. Instead, this formation, whilst it's still fairly attacking, fairly aggressive, it's very much geared towards our team working hard when not in possession of the ball. It's a system whereby we're not going to try and dominate the ball necessarily. Instead, we're going to try and win the ball high up the pitch. And with the pace that we have, one of our rare strengths, really, compared to some of the teams around us, we're going to see what we can do. Anyway, for this game, at least to start with, we're going to go with a controlled possession system. My thinking here is, if after 10 minutes we're struggling to have the ball, maybe Inter are getting on top, then we switch to the game compressing system. Because we've seen this year, this controlling style of play can work wonders. There are games where teams struggle to get the ball off us. We control possession, we control the game, and we're able to carve out results. But equally, we've seen it get completely dismantled in games where we don't get that possession that we crave. When we have control of the game, we tend to do well, but it's not a given, especially against superior opposition like Inter, that's going to be possible. In terms of their team that you can see here, they've got an incredible team. Nainggolan, definitely a standout player. Marin, of course, a very good player. Lautaro Martinez, I think his name's Lautaro. Either way, an exceptional striker in FM. You can see João Mario as well. Ziyech from, well, formerly of Ajax as well. They've got a good team, haven't they? It's not going to be easy, let's be honest. On the bench as well, they've got some pretty good options too. I'm a little bit concerned about a few players, one yellow card off suspensions. That could prove troublesome in the second leg. We've already experienced a little bit of that in terms of, obviously, the 2 players we're missing today due to suspensions. So hopefully we can be well behaved from a discipline perspective. We are at home for today's game. Otherwise, I'd probably be more inclined to try and press the game from the off. But with us being at home, having our fans behind us, I'm hoping that's going to be able to rally us. Never really a given. In all honesty, going into this game, expectations are not high. That might seem very defeatist off the back to admit that, but the reality is Inter just have a better team than us, better experience. We're a younger team. We have a set piece as well to defend here. Ziyech, he's stepping up for it. I mean, surely they're not going to score in the first minute. I mean, it's a little close for comfort, isn't it? The free kick hitting the side netting. We'll see how we get on here. You can see 68% of possession early on is great. Can we keep it going here? Robinson out on the right-hand side, dinks it, headed away. Frame, have a go. Have a go! Narrowly over, of course, is going to be important today that defensively we remain secure. If we can not concede an away goal, it opens up the possibility of the smash and grab. Whether or not that's entirely realistic remains to be seen. Possession in this game is pretty 50-50, but we are the team on the attack here. The Cyborg, of course, playing in replacement of Kieran Kane, has been very improved this year, Cyborg at left back. Let's see what he can do for us potentially. Jim Meister to frame in this deep area is a risk that if we give the ball away here, we could be in trouble. But we're holding on to the ball very nicely here. Jim Meister turns a little bit into danger, manages to get it away. It's a little nerve-wracking here. I mean, cool, calm, collected. Lovely ball attempted there. Didn't quite come off. Inter now going to maybe hit us on the break with Marin. They've got some pacey players here. You can see we kind of step off. There's not a real urgency as they enter our final third to press. And while it's Marin here, crosses it in. Ball hoofed away by Cyborg. Right wins the flick on. Can we apply pressure here to Bastoni? He goes all the way back. Bannon! I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it. I don't know what I've just seen. The keeper's had a mare. It's 1-0. I do not care. I'm actually going to do something controversial here. We've got a goal ahead. I'm going to switch to the pressing system off the bat here. They looked a little uncomfortable there as we had the ball. It seems like they are going to press themselves quite high up. We don't have the technical ability nor composure to pass it around the back. It could come back to bite us. With that in mind, we're going to try and work hard when we do have the ball. Well, Bannon scores. Glendining could have been the man in that position. Almost was. But it's looking like it was a smart decision. With this Gengen pressing system, it is a slight modification of a system I've been using at a Norwich save that I've been doing, which revolves around a fairly similar philosophy to here at LARNE. That's not ideal, is it? But the pressing system here, really, the thinking behind it is it uses similar roles to the current tactic, particularly against superior opposition where we're struggling to get the ball. It can sometimes just force errors. Unfortunately for us, having switched to it immediately, we concede. I mean, here's the issue, folks. When I don't play defensively and we get spanked, people tell me I need to play more defensively, I need to play more conservatively. When I do make that effort to perhaps control the ball a little less, it doesn't really work for us. I'm actually going to change back because since we've changed systems, they've been by far and away the better team. I'm also going to just shout at the players, demand more. Of course, Inter, they are the better side. They do have the better players at the end of the day. We want to try and make something happen if we can. Oh my gosh. I mean, no matter what tactical system you play, it's not going to stop that shot going in. I can't even blame Gran in goal for it. Jared Thompson's not going to stop that. Ziyech, you think, free kick blocked, safe? No, actually deflects off the defender. That is cruel. I don't think it was actually going in. Upon reflection there, the game doesn't seem to acknowledge the fact it wasn't going in. I mean, 2-1 at the break isn't bad, but the game is pretty even until I changed the system, thinking it would be a smart move to do with the possession at 50-50. We've now gone back to the possession-orientated system. You can see Inter are just edging possession. They obviously gifted us away into this game early on. The 2 away goals conceded now is a little concerning. It makes me feel like we need to at least get a draw on the night to open up the opportunity of the smash and grab. If we concede another here, we are going to need to score 3 away from home at the San Siro, which is not a position I ever wanted to be in, and it's not a position I ever think we could expect to get out of. I guess how the players, again, I'm going to demand a little bit more from them. We could do some tactical changes here. O'Connor's played poor, which is a shame. I'm going to bring in Janil Bennett for him. Right up front as well has been less than ideal. We'll bring in Stevie Pestridge, who's very unhappy. Yeah, he had a move to England. I can't remember who it was who bid on him now. It might have been Bolton or Barnsley. It was certainly a team beginning with B. They bid on him. I said he wasn't going anywhere. He was not happy about that. But Stevie Pestridge, the man who I have a soft spot for, of course, his penalty miss, the reason we're not in the Champions League this year, on. We have a set piece, Lil. He can deliver a good ball in. It gets cleared, but only as far as Morrison. McCoy here. Frame. Could spread the play. He does to Lil. Lil can put in a good ball on his right peg. Blocked this time. Now we perhaps have to be concerned. We need to regroup here. We need to, well, try and get back into shape. Although we're going to press absolutely crazily there. We force the error. Cyborg mops up the mess. Jim Meister, though, can't get caught with the ball there. The pass to him was not a kind one. It's Marin down this down this left-hand side for them. Crosses it in. And it is Lautaro Martinez who does score it. You'd have to say they probably deserve it on the balance of play. They've created way more chances than us. Unless we can get a goal, well, even if we get 1 goal here, we're going to need to score 2 or 3 at Inter. It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal. I feel like when you concede 3 away goals, you're kind of always opening yourself up for some problems. We'll go for one last shout. Lil's had a really poor game. Jim Meister as well at centre mid's been particularly poor. I think we'll bring on... you know what? Yeah, we'll bring on Glenn Dining for Jim Meister, then swap Frame and then Bannon and get Glenn Dining into that final third. Not a lot of time for him to really make his mark on today's game. 3-1 is not a bad performance by any means. It's got to be said. Like, that is reasonably competitive against one of the best teams in Europe. You've got to consider as well here, guys, we are playing as a Northern Irish side with a self-imposed rule that means that the majority of our squad is in their early 20s. We're taking into Milan, and we're doing okay. I mean, it's not a bad result at all, is it, really? 3-1. Disappointing, perhaps, the performance more than anything. Disappointing that, well, in attempting to switch to a perhaps more conservative system, it's actually come back to bite us. But we do still have a second leg. There is a slim bit of hope we can turn things around. 18,000 fans at that game is a tremendous turnout, might I add, at Windsor Park. I don't know if that's going to be some kind of record for gate receipts. You can see here it's a record. It surpasses the total we had against Manchester United. Take £250,000 in gate receipts as well for that. That is an incredible showing from our fans. And, well, they have a second away trip to Milan to look forward to. And, well, we're going to get straight to that. It's in a week's time. We're kind of a little bit up against it. But let's see if we can try and turn it around. And, yeah, future Jack, get a good result, please. And, yeah, don't go anywhere, guys. Okay, guys, so we're back here for the second game against Inter Milan. Since we were last here, there's not been any games. It's been a week. We can actually, now I think about it, bring some players back into the team. So Jared Thompson, welcome back in. And, of course, Dixon and additionally, you can see at left back, Kieran Kane, back and selectable today, which is some pretty good news for us, really. Definitely missed in the first team. Cyborg will still go to the bench. In terms of the rest of the team for today's game, I'm going to start Glenn Dining ahead of Bannon. Now, really, going against Inter here, we're not in a particularly great position in terms of having conceded 3 away goals. Even if we win 2-0, it's not going to be enough. We have to score 3. So, it kind of raises a bit of a dilemma. I can go with the control possession system that we normally use. The issue with this system is that certainly on a lot of occasions, it's not perhaps produced quite as many goals as we'd need. The other option is to go with the Gegenpressing style, which is more attacking, maybe can help us away from home a little bit in terms of we're not necessarily focused on holding on to the ball, rather winning it in advantageous positions. Or we could go for the controlling counter-attacking system, which is kind of, quite a fluid counter-attacking system. I think realistically, we've probably got to look at the Gegenpressing system. I am kind of annoyed at myself, to be honest, for last game where I switched halfway through to be, well, more pressing in our play. I kind of wish I hadn't done that. Obviously, it's easy to say in hindsight. I'm someone, you guys know how I like to play this game. I like to play controlling possession and attacking-based football. I feel like in some ways I caved into some of the criticism that I was given over some of our games earlier on this year about, perhaps not being as respectful of better opposition. Obviously, I do have the counter-attacking system, which I've never really used, but it has been in my back pocket. But I do feel like in the game against Inter, certainly in the opening stages of the game, we went pretty much toe-to-toe with them. It was only really, after we changed systems and after we got that goal ahead that things kind of started going downhill. Now, whether or not you can pin that on the system, a bit of complacency, the fact that we were maybe lucky to begin with, it's hard to argue with and really prove or disprove. Ziyech, of course, with that wonder strike for them was a massive difference maker. It does mean going into this game, I'm not going in with a whole host of aspirations. We need 3 goals on the night, ultimately. So trying to play conservative now, playing respectfully and, mindfully of Inter is just not going to be worth it. We need 3 goals at the San Siro. We've got to try and make it happen. Being entirely realistic, even if we could just win on the night, it would be a miracle of a result. So the idea that we could even possibly win by a 3-goal margin and score, well, the amount of goals that we require seems like a bit of a pipe dream, but we're going to try and make it work. We'll see how we get on. Of course, if we do crash out here of the Europa League, there are only 7 league games left. Being realistic, I'd probably come back for one more episode this season, the end of season live com, probably of the cup game. Some of you guys really enjoyed the end of season episode last time, which was, the big purge. Now, whilst that might not happen this year, in fact, it almost certainly won't, I would be curious to know if that's something that you guys would like to see again. One thing I've noticed with this series, and I don't know if it's just to do with the YouTube algorithm, is the longer an episode is, the more views it tends to get. I mean, you can go and check it out for yourself. Obviously, YouTube pushes longer content to you guys watching. That's certainly evident, at least in my viewing numbers. So it does make me wonder if maybe, longer episodes might be the way to go going forward. Maybe a little bit more rambliness if that's what you guys like. Certainly, occasionally with end of season live comms and stuff, you guys seem to really like it. As Ziyech scores another screamer. I mean, it doesn't really change things on the night. I mean, if we kept a clean sheet and won 3-0, I guess we would have won immediately. But we still need 3 goals just to take it extra time. It's got to be said, that is one hell of a finish. Martinez with the ball drifts inside, switches the play. I don't know where the left back is then. Kieran Kane's just caught in absolute no man's land on the break. You can see statistically, they're kind of all over us. Part of me's like, do I want to try and contain them and go for the controlling style of play because the pressing system isn't working? Or do I want to try and hit them on the fluid counter-attack? You know what? We've never really tried the fluid counter-attack. I feel like at this point, I've made my peace with the world. We're probably not going through. I want to see how this system gets on against a big team, against like Inter. This could be a bit of a test perhaps for it. Tactical change hasn't yet come in as Martinez breaks through. Could score again here. I think he just tried to dink Jared Thompson. It's a tiny bit disrespectful if you ask me. But, well, keeper holds on to it. They've now got a set piece. Ziyech hits it. I mean, if he'd scored again from outside the box, I probably would have cried. I'm going to be honest. Fortunately for us, keeper got a strong hand to it, although he's got another set piece. I mean, he really has been a thorn in our side, the right attacking midfielders. Jared Thompson, I mean, very, very questionable goalkeeping. Very almost kind of completely backfired it for us there. It's only 1-0 at the break. We're still in it. We're yet to have a shot on target, though. Part of me's like, do I want to continue with the counter-attacking system, or do I want to just say, screw it, let's try and play our game. Let's try and play this controlling football that's got us this far and see how it gets on for us. You know what? YOLO. I've just said YOLO, please. Please stop me. No, we're gonna change things here. We're going to go to the control possession system. It's probably going to backfire, but I feel like this is the system that got us to this point. If there's a system that's going to see us get 3 goals in a single half, this is it. Just so you guys are entirely aware of, I'm not expecting great results here, but we've got to give it our best shot in the half an hour or so that remains of this game. Unfortunately for us, we are very much on the back foot. João Mario with a chance here maybe to dink it in. Headed away by Dixon quite nicely. Now can we deal with it again? Martinez turns it inside. I mean, we're dealing with it. If we only concede 1, that's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I know that's a terrible thing to say if we only concede 1. Jared Thompson has got the highest average rating in our team in goal. That never happens in FM. That's perhaps an indicator of just how much he's done with their 10 shots on target. They've got a chance here. I mean, Asamoah has just cannoned that in. At this point, you know what? Screw it. Stevie Pestridge, get on the pitch, son. Dixon, you've been awful. Janelle Bennett, get on. Lil, go out onto the right-hand side. One last change. Keithy Frame, you've been garbage. Let's just get on players who want to play and are probably going to offer us better options, but the game's gone. Emotionally right now, I'm detached. The whole season has flashed before my eyes. I've made my peace with the world. We're not going to score 5 goals, which is, I think, I guess would 4 goals would technically be enough, but we're not going to score 4 goals, I don't think. Barring the biggest miracle ever seen in Football Manager, if it's going to start, it needs to start very, very soon. I mean, at this point, I almost want to celebrate a shot on target like it's a goal. Hakimi bringing the ball forward, switches it to Marin. He crosses it in Ziyech. I mean, he scored again against me. Antonio Marin with the assist. It kind of hurts to see Marin doing so well against me. I've got a Norwich City save I've been kind of doing for fun in my own time. And he's been one of my kind of standout players. So to see him doing so well against me kind of hurts a little bit. I have actually thought about doing some videos just of the Norwich save. Maybe just talking about the save game, the tactic, because it is the tactic that I use here at LARNE, which was originally developed there and kind of took its being, using slightly better players at Norwich City. I actually finished second in the league, I think, in the 4th season, in terms of second in the Premier League, that is, not in the Championship. But I've had really quite a lot of fun with the save, just playing it in my own time. I really have been enjoying the LARNE save, but as a bit of a change of pace, doing a slightly bigger team save, it's been fun. I will say, I have been thinking about, stuff after LARNE. I talked about this as being a 5 or 6 year challenge, this save game, just to see how far we could get a team, with a lot of money and young players. The fact we've got this far, I'll be honest, is beyond my expectations. Getting to the knockout stage of the Europa League cannot be underestimated. If Pestridge could score here, I mean, it would have been lovely for the fairy tale. But no, in terms of what we've achieved here at LARNE, given, the transfer rules, the players that I've got, I think it's been pretty impressive. But I have been thinking about, what I would like to do next. I'm currently weighing up the option of maybe doing some kind of... it wouldn't necessarily be a pentagon because I wouldn't be playing to win the Champions Leagues, but essentially just load up a load of leagues and go on a bit of a road trip around the world. Maybe live out a semi-realistic managerial career where we start with no experience and just see where we end up. Load some leagues that we'd never normally manage in. It's something that I've not done on the channel in a very long time. I will say I'm thinking a few seasons ahead here. I feel like we've got at least 1 or 2 years left at LARNE with the players that we've got to see if we can get to the Champions League. I mean, Janelle Bennett scored for us. It could be 3-1 again. We could consistently lose 3-1 across the 2 legs, which would be okay. But yeah, I have been thinking, about what's next. I'd be interested to know your guys' thoughts on doing something like that. As I said, I feel like there's still stuff to do here at LARNE, but in terms of domestically, as you've seen, we kind of just whoop everyone. We play for Europe every year. And I don't necessarily hate that, but to get the domestic league competitive, kind of looking forward, I'd be looking at being in Northern Ireland for the next 20 or so years, I feel like, to raise the league reputation slowly up enough. And whilst I am a patient person, I'm not that patient. I mean, okay, well, they've ruined it now. Inter, you've ruined it, because I was really happy. I was thinking, consistently 3-1 losers, I can deal with that. Torreira has set up Pietro Pellegrini, who has scored on off the bench. I don't want to watch it again. You've ruined it, Inter. You've ruined it. But no, let me know what you guys think of doing some kind of... I don't want to call it a journeyman save or a pentagon. It would be just, a bit of fun. Going to nations I've never really managed in before. I've always really wanted to manage in the Scandinavian leagues, like Norway, Sweden, maybe Denmark. I feel like that's kind of a cool area of the world to start in because there's, some very big teams certainly in those countries. But there's also, just a crazy lower league structure to enjoy. But I don't know, I'm kind of just spitballing ideas at this point. I feel like after the first leg and after the way that first half emerged, I wanted to emotionally detach myself from the game, to distract myself from the fact we have kind of been spanked by Inter Milan. But we receive £500,000 for being spanked, so it's an expensive spanking, well, a good spanking in terms of pricing that we get paid. Okay, this could be interpreted a very different way. Let's move on. In terms of when we'll be back, we are still in the Irish Cup. We're in the quarter-final against Ballymena. The league split is still yet to happen. I think next time out we'll probably end up doing the Irish Cup final, if that's what it comes to. If not, we might just do the last league game of the season, have a bit of a wrap-up and a look back over the year as a whole. We'll play it by ear and see how we go. But do let me know, you kind of guys, what you think in terms of doing a longer term save. You know, probably starting sometime in March. Beyond this, I feel like this is a save game I'd still like to maintain, you know, over the months, perhaps a little more sporadically. Yeah, let me know what you think anyway. And, well, I'll see you guys next time, won't I? Glenn Dining's fan club. I'm sorry that I didn't start him in the first game. Maybe that's why we lost. I gave him a chance in the second leg. Didn't quite do so well for us, did he? Anyway, I've rambled on long enough today, guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in a couple of days' time. As I said, this month's pretty busy for me, so I'm not uploading on Wednesdays. We are uploading every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. Hopefully I see you guys in 2 days' time for that. And yeah, that's all from me. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.